Chapter 19, El Filibusterismo, published in Gen. Jose Rizal began writing El Filibusterismo on October 1887 while practicing medicine in Calamba, Laguna. The following year, 1888, in London, he made some changes in the plot and corrected some chapters already written in the novel. He wrote more chapters in Paris and Madrid and finished the whole manuscript in Biarritz, a city in France, on March 29, 1891. July 5, 1891, Jose Rizal left Brussels for Ghent, a famous university in Belgium. He has two reasons to move in Ghent. The first one is the cheaper cost of printing, and the second one is he wants to escape the affection that Petit Hussein had to him. While staying at Ghent, he met two compatriots, Jose Alejandro, a Pampangueño, and Edilberto Evangelista, a Manileño, that both studying engineering in University of Ghent. Since he has limited funds, Jose Rizal lived in a cheap boarding house, and his roommate was Jose Alejandro. Jose Rizal searched a printing shop that could give him a lowest cost of printing of his work, or of his book or novel, and we find it along the Vianderen Street. The Efmir Van Loo Press, that was located at number 66 Vianderen Street. The basis of payment on this printing shop was installment. He pawned his jewels as his down payment or early partial during the printing of his novel. The printing is going on. Rizal became more desperate because his funds is running out and the money that he expected to his friends didn't arrive. He received some money from Basa and got 200 from Rodriguez Arias for the copies of Morgan's Successes that sold in Manila. But August 6, 1891, the printing of his novel El Filibusterismo had suspended, as Rizal feared, because he could no longer give the necessary funds to the printer. Rizal's cavalry and connection of printing of Noli Me Tangere was repeated at El Filibusterismo. His funds ran out in Ghent, similar to the experience that he had in the Berlin year 1888. He almost hurled to flame the manuscript of El Filibusterismo like he almost did to Noli Me Tangere. But Valentin Ventura, the savior of El Filibusterismo, he was in Paris when he knows that Rizal's predicament and immediately sent a funds to Rizal. With the financial aid, the printing continues. September 18, 1891, El Filibusterismo came off to the press. Rizal was happy, and he immediately sent off 2 copies for Basa and Sixto Lopez to Hong Kong, and as a thankful for helping him, Rizal sent off the original manuscript to Paris for Valentin Ventura with his autograph. He also sent some copies to his friends such as Blumentritt, Mariano Ponce, G. Lopez Haina, P.H. Pardo de Tavera, Antonio and Juan Luna, and etc. Filipino patriots in foreign land and in the Philippines praised the novel. The members of Philippine colony in Barcelona published a tribute in La Publicidad. Liberal Madrid newspaper, the El Nuevo Regiment, serialized the novel in its issue of October 1891. Unluckily, the copies of first edition of El Filibusterismo that was bound off to Hong Kong was almost confiscated and the books were lost. Well, the Ghent copies for the first edition of the novel, El Filibusterismo, were sold at a very high price that reached 400 pesetas per copies. El Filibusterismo was dedicated to the three martyred priests of Cavite, the Gomburza. As a result, while years of traveling, studying, and laboring in the foreign land, he never forgotten the martyrdom of the three priests. So that's why he dedicated the novel of El Filibusterismo to Gomburza. The original manuscript of El Filibusterismo is preserved at Filipiniana Division of the Bureau of Public Libraries in Manila. The Philippine government bought the book for 10,000 pesos to Valentin Ventura. It consists of 279 long sheets of papers, and Rizal's correction was seen throughout the manuscript, and the only paper was revised. Well, there are two features of the manuscript that was not included to the printed copies. It was the foreword and the warning, for the reason for saving a printing cost. The inscription on the title page of El Filibusterismo was made by Ferdinand Blumentritt. The inscription was not found in many published English translation printed copies.
Buenos dias, my name is Ellajah Pascual.
Isang magpagpalayang araw. My name is Rommel Vidad.
So for today, we are going to tell a story about the summary of the novel El Filibusterismo.
Novel that will give us knowledge and a brief of history about the novel of El Filibusterismo.
So, are you guys ready to watch and listen?
So what we are waiting for? Let's start the story of the novel El Filibusterismo.
Walang mga alipin kung walang paalipin. The protagonist of El Filibusterismo is a jeweler named Simon. He is the new identity of Crisostomo Ibarra, who in the prequel Noli escaped from pursuing soldiers. It is revealed that Crisostomo dug up his buried treasure and fled to Cuba, becoming richer and befriending Spanish officials. After many years, the newly fashioned Simon returns to the Philippines, where he is able to freely move around. He is a powerful figure not only because of his wealth, but also because he is a good friend and advisor of the Governor General. Outwardly, Simon is a friend of Spain. However, in secret, he is plotting a terrible revenge against the Spanish authorities. His two obsessions are to rescue his paramour Maria Clara from the nunnery of Santa Clara and to foment a Philippine revolution against Spanish. The story of El Filibusterismo begins on board a steamer ship sailing up the Pasig River from Manila to Laguna de Bay. Among the passengers are Simon, Doña Victorina, a pro-Spanish native woman who is going to Laguna in search of her henpecked husband, Tiburcio de Spedania, who has deserted her, Polita Gomez, her beautiful niece, Ben Saiv, anagram of Ibanez, a Spanish journalist who writes silly articles about the Filipinos, Padre Sibila, Vice Rector of the University of Santo Tomas, Padre Camora, the parish priest of the town of Tiani, Don Custodio, a pro-Spanish Filipino holding a position in the government, Padre Salvi, Saint Franciscan friar and former cura of San Diego, Padre Irene, a kind friar who was a friend of the Filipino students, Padre Florentino, a retired scholarly and patriotic Filipino priest, Isagani, a poet nephew of Padre Florentino and a lover of Polita, and Basilio, son of Sisa and promising medical student whose medical education is financed by his patron, Capitan Tiago, a man of wealth and mystery. Simon is a very close friend and a confidante of Spanish Governor General. Because of his great influence in Malacanang, he was called the Brown Cardinal or the Black End. By using his wealth and political influence, he encourages corruption in the government, promotes the oppression of the masses, and hastens the moral degradation of the country so that the people may become desperate and fight. He smuggles arms into the country with the help of a rich Chinese merchant named Quiroga, who aspires to be Chinese consul of Manila. His first attempt to begin the armed uprising did not materialize because at the last hour, he hears the sad news that Maria Clara died in the nunnery. In his agonizing moment of bereavement, he did not give the signal for the outbreak of hostilities. After a long time of illness brought about by the bitter loss of Maria Clara, Simon perfects his plan to overthrow the government. On the wedding day of Juanita Gomez and Juanito Pelaez, Simon gives them a beautiful lamp as a wedding gift. Only he and his confidential associates Basilio know that when the wick of his lamp burns slower than nitroglycerine, hidden in its secret compartment, it will explode, destroying the house where the wedding feast is going to be held, killing all guests including the Governor General, the friars, and the government officials. Simultaneously, all the government buildings in Manila will be blown by Simon's followers.
I hope that you learn and follow our story about one of the novel of Dr. Rizal, El Filibusterismo. But the story will not end here. We will continue our story about what happened in Simon.
As the wedding feast began, the poet Isagani, who has been rejected by Paulita because of his clever ideas, is standing outside of the house, sorrowfully watching the people that have been partying inside. Isagani is a friend of Basilio. That's why Basilio wants him to go away, because once the lamp will lighten, the place will explode. But upon hearing the horrible secret of the lamp, Isagani realized that his beloved Paulita is in grave danger. To save her life, he rushes into the house. He grabs the lamp that has been lighted and throws it into the river where it will explode. The revolutionary plot of Simon has been discovered. That's why the soldiers hunt Simon and have been cornered by the soldiers. But he escapes. He is mortally wounded and carrying his treasure chest. He found and hid in the home of Padre Florentino, which located in the sea. However, the Spanish authorities found out that Simon is in the house of Padre Florentino. That's why Lieutenant Perez of the Guardia Civil informs Padre Florentino by a letter that he will come at 8 o'clock of the night to arrest Simon. Simon found out that he will be arrested. That's why he tried to kill himself by taking a poison. As he is dying, he confessed to Padre Florentino that revealing his true identity and his plan to use his wealth to avenge himself and his sinister aim to destroy his friends and enemies. The confession of Simon before he nearly died is long and painful. It is already night when Padre Florentino, wiping the sweat from his wrinkled brow, rises and begins to meditate. He consoled the dying man, saying, God will forgive you, Senor Simon. He knows that you are wrong. He has seen that you have suffered, and in deciding that the punishment for your mistake should come from death, from those who have initiated into crime, we can see His forgiveness and infinite mercy. That you suffered a lot about what happened in you. First, by the death of Maria Clara, and all your activities and bad plans. Let us bow to His will and render Him by saying, Thank you, Simon. Watching Simon die peacefully, with a clear conscience and at peace with God, Padre Florentino falls upon his knees and prays for the dead jeweler. The priest then takes the treasure chest and throws Simons into the sea.
The purpose of the novel El Filibusterismo is to urge the society or the Filipinos to open our eyes to the reality about the rebellion of Spanish government for, for their abuse and appreciation to the Filipino. The message of the novel is about the governance system in the Spanish era. That the novel of El Filibusterismo is dedicated to the three matres priests, or known as Gombusa. Like in Noli Me Tangere, the novel of El Filibusterismo is considered as one of the instruments that initiated Filipino nationalism, leading to 1896 Philippine Revolution. The novel did not only awake sleeping Filipino awareness, but also establish the ground for aspiring to independence.
Good day everyone, my name is James Christian M. Perez, and today's video we're gonna talk about the comparison of El Filibusterismo and Noli Me Tangere. So what is El Filibusterismo? So El Fili is a political novel and it's 64 chapters, and then sa Noli naman ay romantic and social novel, and it is 64 chapter. So, bakit nga ba hindi tapos ang LPD? Una dito ay kulang siya sa pondo para ilabas ang libro. Pangalawa, kulang na siya sa oras dahil nga nakakulong na siya nung panahon na yun. Ngunit ito'y hindi sinang-ayunan ni Blumentritt at ni Graciano dahil nga alam nila na mas superior ang Elfili dahil dito nagsimula ang paghihimagsik ng mga Pilipino laban sa mga Espanyol. Rizal unfinished third novel. So, September 22, 1891 pala. So, Jose Rizal wrote a letter to Blumentritt. She said that the third novel did not a political, wala itong tungkol sa political, tungkol ito sa mga habits and customs of the Filipino. So, in October 18, 1891, nag-travel si Rizal sa Melbourne hanggang sa Marseilles, hanggang tatagos sa Hong Kong to the Philippines. So, itong novel na to, habang nag-travel si Rizal, sinusulat niya pa rin. Ngunit hindi pa rin to tapos dahil at wala rin pa rin tong title dahil nga ito ay consist ng 44 pages and written in Tagalog. So, makikita ito sa National Library at miniserve ito upang makita to ng mga bata at mga susunod pang henerasyon. So, the Rizal unfinished third novel, it is a synopsis of Rizal unfinished third novel. The story begins with Soliman Brual of the Prince of Tagoluma, son of the Sultan Saidi. of the Ternate on malapad na bato. A big rock on the bank on the Pasig River, Sultan Saidi with his royal family retainers was taken prison by the Spaniards during the wars of the Moluccos and brought to Manila. So may dalawa pang unfinished novel si Rizal. Ito ay Makamisa at Dapitan. So Makamisa nakasulat kayo sa Tagalog nobela, written in light sarcastic style. Ito ay 2 chapter lang at ito ay binubuo ng 20 pages. So sa Dapitan naman ay nakasulat naman ito sa ironic Spanish. Tapos during exile, ito sinulat habang siya ay nasa Dapitan. Dapitan written in ironic Spanish. He wrote it during his exile at the Dapitan despite the town, life, and customs. It is 8 pages of manuscript. A Spanish novel about the life of Billy, a town in Laguna. It was unfinished. The manuscript consists of 147 pages. The character is Padre Agaton, Captain Pachong, and Kapitana Barang, Isagani, Captain Crispin, at Dr. Lopez. At meron din isa pang novel na walang title at unfinished novel rin. So it was about a Cristobal, a youthful Filipino student, was a return from Europe, also unfinished novel. The manuscript consists of 34 pages. The characters is Cristobal, Amelia, Captain Ramon, Dominican Friar, and Franciscan Friar, and Spanish Lieutenant and Guardia Civil. So, Rizal, another unfinished novel. The beginning of the novel consists of 2 books. The first book contains 31 pages, and the second book contains 12 pages. The novel also contains the bipolar condition of the Philippines. Also, it was unfinished novel and written in Spanish in the ironic style. And that's all. Thank you.
A formar! Carguen! Apunten! Consumatum est!